reliable and predictable trading partner. In the current global environment, it is in everyone's interest to expand their network and strengthen their supply routes. For us, it is nothing less than a prerequisite for our competitiveness and our economic security that we find new markets for our exporters and new sources of imports. And it also helps double down on rules-based trade while we continue to push for proper multilateral governance with the WTO as its core. The US represents 30% of global trade. It's a lot. But we must not forget about the remaining 87%. And therefore work continues internally towards the adoption of signature of agreements with Mercosur and Mexico. These are perfect examples of deals we have made that can deliver hugely on our bid for diversification, to open new markets and further important geopolitical relations build up, while also securing key commitments on issues of climate change and sustainability. They offer significant opportunities for EU businesses and high potential for EU consumers. There is still work to be done to get them over the line. However, I count on the support of this House to ensure successful outcomes for the benefit of all. And to conclude, Mr. President, I also would like to inform the honourable members that we are accelerating dramatically our ongoing negotiations with India. We had very successful meetings just last week. Indonesia, where I had the important VTC yesterday, Philippines, Thailand and Malaysia. As you know, we launched the free trade agreement talks with the United Arab Emirates, something which I believe could serve as a strong catalyst to advance our cooperation with the Gulf cooperation countries with whom we are also negotiating strategic partnership agreements. So while we are pushing our FTA agenda forward, we are also making use of other more flexible forms of engagement tailor-made to our own needs and those of our respective partners, covering specific sectors and deepening our bilateral relations. Let me just conclude by highlighting that we are working very closely with Angola in implementing sustainable investment facilitation agreement which entered into force in 2024, and we are working closely with our partners on critical raw materials, but also on the digital trade agreements reached with South Africa earlier this year and with Singapore, which I will be signing there on behalf of the EU this week. We are working very closely with South Africa also to advance our clean trade investment partnership to strengthen our clean supply chains, which we hope to conclude by the end of 2025. My last point would be appeal to all of us, and I would like to thank the Polish presidency for excellent cooperation on making sure that our unity is unshakable, that we act as one if it comes to these very important trade negotiations, because this is as vital as ever. And I would say that this is the time to act in unequivocal terms for the EU's interest and towards our goal of maintaining strong and competitive economy as well as cohesive society. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you very much, honourable members.
Ďakujem, pán komisár. A teraz by som poprosil ako prvého za poslanecký klub Európskej ľudovej strany kresťanských demokratov kolegu Warborna. Nech sa páči.
Thank you, Vice President, Minister, Commissioner, colleagues. We find ourselves at historic crossroads, not just in terms of economic policy, but also in the broader context of global geopolitics. Trade tension, of course, is nothing new, but today, in an era of deep globalization and tightly interlinked supply chains, the consequences are more far-reaching than ever. We have seen this clearly in the past months, when Trump's erratic trade measures triggered volatility across financial markets. The EU response, especially in the face of the unjustified trade measures from a long-standing ally, will be remembered. Our approach must strike a careful balance, preserving the principle of trust, respect and transatlantic cooperation, while also shielding European citizens and industries from economic harm. I therefore call on the Commission to act decisively within their 90 days retaliatory pause. The current pause from the Trump administration is de facto a 25% tariff on EU steel, aluminium and automobiles, and a 10% tariff on almost all other goods. The Commission's decision to hold off on immediate retaliation is wise. De-escalation creates a space for dialogue. But let us be clear, inaction cannot become our policy. Within these 90 days, we must prepare a strong, a measured and a unified response. And at the same time, we must do three things to strategically position Europe, and that is strengthen the single market, negotiate and ratify more free trade agreements, not least Mercosur and the Mexico one, and then reasserting leadership within WTO, because we need the rules-based international system when there is unpredictable in the world. Thank you.
Ďakujem pekne. Ďakujem pekne. A teraz poprosím za skupinu Progresívnej aliancie socialistov a demokratov v Európskom parlamente kolegyňu García Pérez. Nech sa páči.
Gracias, presidente, querido comisario Maroš Šefčovič. Donald Trump y su visión del mundo son una amenaza directa, no solo para el comercio internacional, sino también para los valores que sustentan nuestras democracias. Su guerra comercial contra la Unión Europea, con aranceles injustificados, amenazas a nuestras industrias y chantajes permanentes, es la manifestación más evidente de un nacionalismo económico autoritario que desprecia el derecho internacional y la cooperación entre iguales. Trump y sus socios de extrema derecha, dentro y fuera de la Unión Europea, no creen en un mundo ordenado por normas, sino en la ley del más fuerte. Y frente a su embestida no podemos ni debemos titubear. Estamos aquí para defender con firmeza el modelo europeo, un modelo basado en la justicia social, en el estado de bienestar y una economía que pone en el centro a las personas. La Unión Europea debe responder con contundencia. Nuestra respuesta debe desplegarse en varios frentes: la protección de nuestros trabajadores, consumidores y empresas, la defensa del orden internacional basado en reglas, con una Organización Mundial del Comercio fuerte y reformada, y una negociación frente a Trump desde una posición de firmeza, sin ceder a ningún tipo de chantaje. Tenemos las herramientas, pero debemos usarlas cuando sea necesario si esta amenaza continúa. Debemos adoptar sanciones y gravámenes a las grandes tecnológicas que incumplen nuestras normas y exclusión de empresas de los Estados Unidos de la contratación pública.